Hi, my name is Luke Korum with the Puyallup Sumner Chamber of Commerce. I'm here with Chris Gildon, who's running for state representative in the 25th District, Position 2. Hi, Chris.
Hey, Luke.
I'm going to ask you a few questions here. The first question I was going to ask you is in 2 minutes or less, describe yourself. Touch on any community involvement, and why are you running for office?
Sure. That's a lot to put into 2 minutes. I'll
Yeah.
do my best. So again, I'm Chris Gildon. I am running for the 25th District House of Representatives, position number 2. I'm a veteran Army officer with 23 years experience. I was an Army engineer officer. I have 5 deployments overseas, including once to Bosnia, twice each to Iraq and Afghanistan. During that time, I've had the opportunity to lead literally thousands of soldiers and civilians. I've managed budgets in excess of multi-million-dollar budgets, and I've led programs all the way up to the national level. For example, and I'll just shorten down to one example, I ran the Afghan Peace and Reintegration Program, my last deployment to Afghanistan. Now, during that time, I was stationed in a small province in northern Afghanistan, and it was actually a Hungarian base, and I was one of 4 Americans. I was the senior American, and my job was to go out and liaise with local civilian officials, facilitate negotiations with insurgents, bring them to the negotiating table, do conflict resolution, and figure out how to bring peace to individual villages and communities. So I did that for a few months, and then they brought me up to Kabul and put me in charge of the program nationwide, where I had about 20 people scattered all across Afghanistan doing the job I had been doing. Incredibly successful program with no US dollars and only 20 people. We were able to bring, on average, 200 insurgents off of the battlefield, have them publicly surrender their weapons, and pledge allegiance back to the government of Afghanistan. Incredibly successful program. See, I've been married to Autumn for 25 years. We have 2 kids, Alex and Anna. I have a bachelor's of political science, actually double major, political science and history from the University of Texas. I have a master's of public administration from Webster University and a master of strategic security studies from the National Defense University. After I retired in 2016, I came to work in real estate, and I'm currently with the Offenbecker office here in Puyallup.
What would you say is the most important issue in your race?
So I'm running on 3 issues. One is cost of living, quality of life. The other one is relief from high taxes. And the third one is political healing. And political healing is not necessarily a policy item, but if I look across the board at all of the issues that we're facing right now, I think it's disastrous that we're starting to lose our fondness for one another as Americans, and that we're losing our ability to engage in civil discourse about the issues. I've door-knocked over 10,000 houses so far, speaking with voters of every stripe and color, and the one issue that remains constant across everyone is they're tired of the political divisiveness, and they want their legislators to get to business solving problems rather than producing fear and pushing their own agenda on the items that separate us. So I'd like to go to Olympia, and I would like to solve problems, put problems over party, and just do what the people want us to do, set the example for how to conduct civil discourse for our fellow citizens.
And our last question, how specifically would you support the business community?
So that's interesting, and I put a little bit of thought into this question, but I think there's 3 main areas where the legislature can support the business community. One of those is the cost of labor, and that has to do directly with the push to increase the minimum wage. I don't believe it's the government's job to interfere with the cost of a unit of labor. I much favor the free market in determining the price of a unit of labor. I think when the government gets into it, we just mess things up. Number 2 is the cost of running a business. And in that, I'm talking directly at items like the B&O tax that we have right now. I'm talking at all of the various regulations that increase the cost of running a business, and decrease your bottom line. And then number 3, it's the cost of starting a business or expanding a business. As I said previously, I do commercial real estate, and so I'm very familiar with all of the different impact fees required to actually do construction and hook up to utilities, or the traffic mitigation fees, all of those different fees that make it almost cost prohibitive for businesses to begin or to expand. So those are the 3 areas that I think I could help on, is cost of labor, cost of running a business, and the cost of growing a business.
Well, thank you for your time today, Chris, and thanks for coming down.
All right, thank you very much. I
Thank you.
appreciate it.